In 2002, the Chaplain's Office established the HOPE program. HOPE is an acronym for Helping Open People's Eyes. It's a Christian faith-based program, though any inmate can apply, regardless of religion, age, or ethnic background. In the jail, inmates attend the program for 8 weeks before release. Instructors and volunteers help them work on improving relationship and parenting skills. They assist inmates with addiction and recovery issues. On the outside, newly released former inmates meet with mentors for support and practical help in finding housing and a job. Once the HOPE program started, it didn't take long for Warden Ramon Rustin to expand HOPE to an entire 90-inmate living unit, or pod.
We discussed HOPE a number of years ago, and I was told by our chaplain that there was a waiting list and that they would have to wait until each class started the next session to get in. So together I think we decided why not expand it to an entire pod. And the requests to get in the HOPE pod were pretty incredible. And we worked with operations, and we actually solicited the inmates and did a lot of moves, and the chaplain's department designed a program, moved the inmates into the 2C, and very successful program. A lot of great comments. I run into people that are released from the HOPE pod and into the community, and they say that they actually thank me for starting the program, and a lot of the people that I do meet say they're really successful, they're taking care of their families, they're not reoffending, and that really is the objective of the HOPE program.
Okay, here at the Allegheny County Jail, we're trying something very unique among corrections. We started a HOPE pod. It's a faith-based program that is unprecedented throughout corrections. I got to say that. I've been in corrections for over 20 years, and in my position as major of the Allegheny County Jail and overseeing the total operation and security of the institution, it was a hard pill to swallow in the beginning. And I can tell you this, it works.
In March 2009, Warden Rustin added a pod of HOPE for women.
We've learned through the writings and the research that the females are usually offenders, criminals, because of some things that happen in their experience, a lot of times as girls, where they were abused. So with those issues in mind, their treatment, really in a correctional institution, we should focus on treatment. So the HOPE program is perfect for addressing those needs.
The female housing pod and the female population bring a whole different gambit of problems and needs as those compared to the males. But again, the key and integral part of that will be public safety and the mentoring programs.
Security and treatment have to be on the same playing field. If it's not on the same playing field, it's not going to work. I've toured institutions throughout this country, and I can tell you right now that an institution this size, and this magnitude, and this many inmates, is a handful. But what's unique about this facility, and mainly the HOPE pod, is you have to go find the residents. I call them residents. I don't call them inmates. They're people. That's what people have to remember right off the bat. This isn't some type of warehouse where you're just making better criminals. We're making better citizens. And through the efforts that the chaplain's office has put together, in conjunction with security, this project is now a reality and is now flourished to the female housing units of the institution.
A strong component of the HOPE program is the aftercare. HOPE Aftercare matches a released inmate with a mentor and a support group. The volunteer mentors and members of the aftercare support group offer encouragement and fellowship in a community of faith. They help the released inmates make the transition back to society.
Speaking with inmates over the number of years I've worked here, a lot of them say the hardest part is when they walk out that door. They can do all the programs they can here because it is in structured environments. When they leave here, that they don't have somebody with them to pick them up and to walk by their side for the most important part, 48 hours. If there's not somebody there within the 48 hours, the chances of relapse are 100%. The chances of reoccurring criminal offenses is probably 100%, and the chances of them ending back here in the jail are 100% within a matter of 2 to 3 weeks. I'm a firm believer in the mentoring process that we use for the, nothing else, public safety. The inmates themselves have somebody that they can walk with, talk to, and help them stay out of here. The majority of these men are returning back to our communities. They just don't evaporate and go into thin air. So there is the need for mentoring for the public safety aspect.
What we do in a correctional environment is there's a lot of structure, but normal everyday life, there's not a lot of that structure. So when they are released, usually they're left to fend for themselves. And a lot of times they don't really have the aftercare to be able to do that all by themselves. So that disconnect, we need to bridge that. And a lot of our people that are released from institutions need hand-holding for at least a year to make sure that they're successful. And by hand-holding, I mean that they need a mentor that will keep them focused and actually be the person or group that they can turn to when things start to go south.
From the basics of housing needs to learning how to do a bank account to even know how to do shopping today. You have to have the component out there to keep them from going back to that street corner that's crying for them. Keep them away from the people that got them here. Help them get some type of job, some type of education. Hopefully we're making better citizens, not better inmates.
When you're trying to find a job, you have to tell your employer that you've been incarcerated. And a lot of employers won't hire you. But if you have somebody that will support you, and so a reference that the employer can go to validate that you have been through some programs, a lot of times the employer will be willing to work with you and hire you. And then again, when you get that first check, a lot of inmates won't know what to do with that money. And there's great temptation on the street to buy drugs. When that decision is up to the individual, a lot of times they make the wrong decision. But when you have a mentor, they get you ready for that first check.
Newly released inmates must make difficult choices. Many return to communities and lifestyles that influence crime. The temptation to commit repeat crime is great. Allegheny County reports that approximately 65% of the inmates released from the general jail population will return or recidivate. But the numbers for HOPE graduates are different. More than 1,700 men participated in HOPE since October 2006. And according to a recent study, only 18% of them have returned. Among the 700 female HOPE graduates, the recidivism rate is 16%. Former inmates say having someone walk alongside them on the outside is a key to not returning.
And I believe that component is, here I am. What do you need? Here I am today. I'm here to pick you up from the jail. I'm here to find you a place to live. I'm here to offer you some food if you need it. Let's go to Giant Eagle. And I don't believe it has anything to do with enabling somebody, but just loving somebody back into a good place and a healthy place.
And so it was really scary for me, the first 48. Nervous, not wanting to go back into your old behaviors, trying to keep myself focused on what I have learned on a HOPE pod and stuff like that. So it was really scary for me,
And he talked to me about his transformation from being an inmate to being a father and his responsibilities. That conversation that I had with him was quite powerful. And it told me some of the things that he learned from the HOPE pod about his role as being a father and being a husband, and his new relationship that he found with God.
And it was a struggle for me, but thanks to my mentor that I had somebody to encourage me to stick in there where I'm at, and regardless of my situation, just to stay in there. But what I really want to say, men fail because when they leave from there, like Lynn said, in the 48 hours, if you don't have nowhere to go, you're going to go right back where you was before. Mm-hmm. So I strongly believe that we really need to focus on having a place for them when they get out.
And that was my first one-on-one with someone that had went through the Hope Pod. So I know that it could work. You have to want it to work, and that's what he said to me, that he wanted it this time, but the Hope Pod made the resources available for him to want it.
Well, we've learned through an analysis of our programs that for every dollar spent, there's a $6 savings in public safety. So if we invest $1, chances are, or if we invest those dollars, chances are the offender won't reoffend, and public safety is enhanced, and it's a good investment in taxpayer money.
We've learned that a continuum of care is critical, that it's important to start in the jail to work with people. Make sure that you do a service plan during post-release, but the most important part is once they hit the street. That's when real life begins. They're going to need intensive support. That intensive support let people know that they have somebody in their corner to fill in the blanks.
So we watched the Hope program grow enormously, and there are people here that genuinely care and genuinely love. I think that we have to help each other. And a lot of us from the Hope program, graduates, servant leaders, as well as members of Hope, have been taking care of each other. And we've been waking up at 1 in the morning. We're talking about picking up guys that don't have cars and bringing them to meetings. We're talking about networking with the rest of the fellows to find out, do you need a job? Here's some people that are hiring. And there are many people out there, many companies out there that will hire ex-offenders.
So we have learned that if you give people the time, the tools, and allow them to make the small milestones that they make to the best of their ability with continued intensive support, they can be a true citizen of Allegheny County.